If you love boxing, you're gonna love this.
Hello and welcome to episode 19 of the BoxNation podcast. I'm your host Dev Sani, and this week I'm joined by a man who I can confidently say would defeat me in a fight. While it could be almost anyone, it is of course the former WBO World Super Featherweight Champion Barry Jones.
Where's the screaming girls?
Not on this show, mate. Wrong show.
I'm used to screaming girls.
Wrong show, mate.
I'll be back in a minute. I'll go and get some. How are you doing, mate? You all good?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. It's good to have you filling in for Steve. What are you bringing to the table this week?
What are you on about? What am I bringing to the table? I started boxing when I was 10, and I won I never lost a Welsh title, and then I won a European silver medal, and then
go on.
I went on to win a world title as a professional. I'm bringing that to the table, a bit of experience of being battered around the ring.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Well, okay, well, that's fantastic. That's good experience to bring to the table, Barry Jones. Thank you. And this week we reflect on James DeGale reclaiming the IBF World Super Middleweight title in Vegas. He's done it. He's got the title back. And we have a little look at what could be next for Chunky. We hear from Frampton, Lee Selby, Bradley Skeete, Martin Murray. Barry's going to have a little rant. I don't know what about yet, so I'm slightly worried. And have you heard about the new unified champion at 154 pounds? Oh yes, we discuss Jarrett Hurd and much more. Enjoy. This Saturday, just gone, James DeGale recaptured the IBF World Super Middleweight title with unanimous decision win over Caleb Truax. The scores were 117-110 and 114-113 twice. DeGale was badly cut from a head clash in the third round, and indeed both fighters ended the fight with nasty cuts. It wasn't pretty, but it was gritty from the Brit, who became a two-time world champion with the win. Jim Gray grabbed a word with the new champion and the former champion after the fight.
Listen to me, two-time world champion, he feels great. But full credit to Caleb Truax. He showed that he can mix it at the very, very top. He's tough, he's game. But I told you, when I'm fit and I'm injury-free, it's hard. People are going to find it hard to beat me. But yeah, I'm just happy that I'm a two-time world champion. I've got my IBF title back. I'm a proud IBF world champion. And I'm back. Team Chunky, we're back.
That's your belt back right there.
Oh man. 2.5 years I had that for, and I lost it to Truax last December. He embarrassed me. I come back and got back my title.
Were you thinking about what you said before the fight in those later rounds, that if you didn't get this decision, that this could be the end, and did that springboard you to continue to fight?
100% that pushed me on. But Caleb Truax has got the feeling of being world champion now. He brought a lot more to the table. But as I say, me on my day and very fit and switched on, I'm hard to beat.
How much did the eye affect you moving forward for the rest of the fight from the third round on?
I couldn't see, I promise you. But I'm just glad that I got through it. I showed some heart because in my last fight against Truax, I was unfit. I was like a weak little kid. He was coming forward and I was going, oh, that's what I'm saying, because I weren't fit. My shoulder, I couldn't hook off my front hand. But I'm just glad that I'm back. I've had a good camp and I'm ready to go as soon as I think. I've got to wait till these heal up, but I want to be busy. I've got a couple of years left in this game, Jim.
Final thought, he gave you a rematch. Will you consider giving him one now?
If you don't want to see it, we can do it. It's easy work, I promise you next time, I swear to God. But full respect to him. I've got a lot of respect for him. He ain't a journeyman, he's a tough guy.
Congratulations, James. Caleb.
I did tell you,
your thoughts on this decision?
I thought I did enough to win the fight, but I also thought I was pretty flat and didn't get my shots off like I wanted to. But it's not up to me; it's up to the judges, and it's not in my control. So I guess I got to roll with what they say.
Why couldn't you get your shots off?
I don't know. I was just a little bit flat. I think I felt really good coming in. The weight cut went great. I don't know. I just couldn't get my shots off like I did the last fight, and it showed. You know, I didn't get enough punches on target, and like I said, I thought I won. I kept him on the back foot the whole time and kept the pressure on him, and he never hurt me. But it is what it is, I guess.
The headbutts. You're the recipient of a couple. He's the recipient. How much did that affect you in the fight? He clearly affected DeGale in the third round.
Yeah, I mean, he was ducking down and kind of coming up with the uppercut, and his head was first, and he cut me over both eyes and blasted me in the mouth in like the first or second round. And I mean, it didn't affect the fight. It is what it is. Boxing is a rough game, so got to roll with the punches.
2 tough fights. He said he'd give you a rematch. You want it?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I gave him a rematch straight away, so why not do it again?
Barry, were you impressed?
No, I wasn't impressed. It was a win, and I'm glad he won. And I did say on Twitter the other day, he finds a way to win most of the time.
Yeah.
And he's not afraid to go away from home, and he's willing to dog it out, and they're qualities in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a talent. I just still think, and I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad he won, but I still think that a fighter of Truax's level of abilities should always easily get beat by James DeGale. Not easily, but I sort of said before the fight that Truax is a hard fight for anyone, but anyone who's a world champion status should have the beating of him, which is what happened at the end of the day. It's not get carried away. He still won. James won fair and square. It was close, but he won. But it was a hard fight. Maybe the cut affected him again, and he used the jab more than he did in the first fight.
Yeah.
And he didn't retreat back to the ropes as much as he did in the first fight.
He mentioned that in the interview. Yeah.
Yeah, but he still does it. But habits take a while to break, so I understand that. But he throws his punches in. I think his judgment of the distance is just a little bit out. Whether that's those few hard fights, which I don't really think he's had that many, to be fair, but maybe it is, or maybe he's just not getting it right at the minute. But that he needs to throw those punches in flurries and bunches when he's in a safer range, and then spin off. Before the fight, we showed a preview of the Butte win.
Yeah.
I know he was spinning around the target there against a good boxer, and he was spinning around the target, so he was letting his punches go, not taking 2 steps back and allowing someone to walk onto him. He was pivoting around the target, then moving back, and he gave himself loads of space to go again, and he didn't do that. He didn't do it in the first fight, and he was better in the second fight than the first. But I still don't think he needed that much to beat this guy anyway.
It's still a hard fight again, wasn't it?
It was a really hard fight, and again, and he's proved that how tough he is, James. He takes his licks, his headbutts, and he gives them back, and he's not shy of a tough fight. He takes a fantastic shot, but against this level of opposition, this shouldn't be a hard fight.
He keep in the build up to the first fight, in the build up to the rematch, and even in the post fight interview there, when questioned about another rematch, he said Truax is easy work, and he keeps saying it, but he's not making easy work of Caleb Truax.
Well, it's because he knows his ability, and like I said, it should be easy work. So when you watch Truax, he's better than what he looks because he stays nice and low. He's busy. He closes the range quick, and he moves that upper body quite well. So he doesn't just walk forward exactly in straight lines, but still, I still think he's easy enough to hit. He's just, you got to be fit to beat him, and James is fit. But I think for James, again, it's just not enough weight on that jab. He flips it in, and he whips his shots in. So they're stinging shots, but that jab should be a little bit stronger. And being a southpaw as well, he's not that hard to hit either. At times when he should always be awkward to hit. And I'm criticising him because I think he could do a lot better. He just regained his world title, which is fantastic.
Two-time world champion. It's a great headline, isn't it?
It's a fantastic achievement. And his whole career has been stellar. World champion, European champion.
What's his best win?
I would probably say that the Butte win. To be honest, George Groves but George Groves wasn't the fighter he is now back then, and nor was James. To be honest, but so I'd say that I think Butte was obviously, people say he was past his best, but a difficult, tricky fighter to beat. And again, he did it in Canada.
Yeah, that adds to it. I think the road warrior element. He's only ever lost in the UK. The 2 losses that he had, right, Groves and of course Truax.
But to see him home now, I think for him, I would try and cash in now.
And what's next then? There was talk of the rematch there. Truax obviously wants the rematch. He said he gave DeGale the rematch.
But I can't see where the money coming from for it, because James is going to want big money. No,
of course.
It's bigger money for that. Which means Truax is going to take less. Truax will take less because the bargaining over him was that belt, and he hasn't got that. For me, James, he got to come home. There's enough in dress home. There's wherever he fights, whatever banner he fights under. You got Callum Smith, a biggish name, but he's world rated. And if he beat George Groves, then he's a huge name. George Groves is a big draw wherever he goes. And Eubank, because he's a good fighter, but because of his dad, he's the biggest name. So there's fights there for him. There's fights.
Well, I think there's if we're calling, come with me on this analogy. If James DeGale is the Titanic, I think there's an iceberg in the distance, and that's the interim IBF champion Jose Uzcategui. So he's going to get thrown onto DeGale at some point very soon, and that's a bad fight for DeGale. For me, what do you think?
It is, but I sort of switched off when you said he's an interim champion. He's an interim champion when we have an active champion.
Yeah, it's one of them. But the IBF, that particular sanctioning body, when it comes to things like that, they do seem quite strict in terms of putting an interim or putting a mandatory to fight the actual champion.
Well, the mandatory is a good idea. The interim titles should only be when a champion is unable to defend his title, with a view to being able to come back, just in case he doesn't. Then to keep that title busy for TV and everything else, you have an interim like Frampton now. With his title, that makes sense. Because Valdez got a broken jaw, and to keep the title busy, and Valdez gets back within a reasonable time, then he got to fight the winner of Frampton and Donaire.
Yeah.
But having interim champions when Truax just beat DeGale.
All right, I think I'll
this is the rant. There's a few buzzwords you can't mention.
I know. Interim is one of them. Interim has clearly got you going.
At the end of the day, James won, and we got to be happy with that. He's back in the #1 spot in the IBF, and he got to come home and fight and try and delay that. He's on Skeete as well, or however you pronounce his name. No one's going to get it. It's a hard fight.
It's a hard fight, hard sell.
But no, yes, that's exactly what it is. That's the important part. It's a hard sell. So for James, why does he want that? He probably get more in a return with Truax. So
well, that's just it. How can he? I mean, it'd have to be navigated quite carefully. Can he somehow avoid this Uzcategui fight? Can he unify with David Benavidez, who's been licking his lips at ringside watching that fight? He's been saying he'd knock DeGale out if they were to fight. Can he get a Groves fight, the winner of that, or is he going to end up with this Uzcategui fight? Well,
I think we showed when he boxed back in London. He drew a pretty good crowd. So I think if he wants to work with someone like Frank again, I think he would try. I think he was trying to get. Was he trying to get Saunders before?
Yeah. There was
Saunders even. Yeah, but I think Saunders got a concentrate on where he's going, because there's potentially the biggest fight out there for him. So and that's not James DeGale, of course. It's the other monster at middleweight. but you can get that unification maybe, and get, because these guys just because they're in America, people think they earn massive money, and really always, except for Roy Jones and maybe Tony for a little while, the super middleweights, all the money's always been in Britain.
Well, congratulations to James DeGale. We will be keeping an eye on his next move. But he's a two-time world champion. That was a fight that was live on BoxNation over the weekend. There was another fight on the show as well, Jarrett Hurd and Erislandy Lara, and we'll review that a little bit later in the show. On May 19th, at the home of Leeds United Football Club, Elland Road, the IBF World Featherweight Champion Lee Selby travels into hostile territory to defend his title against the undefeated Leeds warrior Josh Warrington. It will be a partisan atmosphere, and the Leeds faithful will be baying for the blood of the champion. It's under 6 weeks until fight night. Steve Lillis, absent today, doesn't mean he's not working. Steve Lillis gave the champ a call.
Lee, thanks for joining us on the BoxNation podcast again. The fight against Josh Warrington's getting closer, and I saw a picture on Twitter. You go out, do road work with your lurcher dogs.
Yeah. So when I'm running, I usually go through like the country lanes by my house, do between like 5 and 8 miles with my dogs on my side. It keeps them fit and it keeps me fit too.
Who wins the races between you?
To be honest, my older dog, he got stamina for days, but I've got a new pup. She's not as fit, so we're on level there.
So you finished second then?
I come second after the older dog.
So anyway, well, we know how much you love your training. How's it going?
Training's going good. It always goes well for every fight. I'm constantly in the gym. I'm just sat now waiting for sparring. I'm sat in ice outside the gym, fueling up on a jack and potato, getting ready for some round sparring. Who you been sparring with? I saw you had some lads up from Portsmouth, didn't you? Yeah, we've had them up. They've been coming up every week. We got some good boys in the gym, and I'm looking to go away to America for top quality sparring too. Oh, so when are you going to America? More than likely in about 2 weeks' time. Nothing's been booked yet, but that's what we're looking at.
You'll get some top class sparring there, won't you? With featherweights or not?
That's it. We travel around all the gyms. We'll probably go to Los Angeles. We travel around all the gyms. One of our favourites is the Maywood gym in East LA. We train there regular, spar there regular. Or we go to like the Wild Card. We go all over.
Well, what sort of reception do you get in America from all the fighters there that you're a world champion? Do they all want to get in the gym and knock your head off?
First of all, when we first started going over, they didn't really show us no respect. Like some of the gyms, like especially like the Mexican type gyms, they don't speak much English. So until like they actually see me sparring and boxing, that's when we gain the respect. So now we've been there regular. We've got the respect to the gyms. They welcome us. But obviously the fighters, it's funny since I've been watching. I mean, everyone I spar with you and the boys in the gym, they all want to try and get one over.
What sort of respect do you think Josh Warrington has for you?
Absolutely none at all.
Really?
Well, the way he keeps running his mouth, it don't seem that way.
I mean, do you consider him your toughest test? This is your 5th defence after all.
It's hard to say. Different fighters bring different styles, you know. And it depends how I am on the mat. I know if I box at my best ability, I'll keep my style. You
say that Josh has no respect for you. When you did the face-off of each other, you said you didn't respect him you respected him as a fighter. What do you make of him as a person then?
I respect everybody who boxes, whether it's amateur or professional. I respect any of them because I know the hard work you gotta do in the gym and those miles on the roads. And like you put everything at risk in the ring, so I respect everybody who boxes. Do you think that this is the sort of fight though that will really fire you up? You're in his backyard. You think he's shown you little respect. Is this the fight where we're going to see the Lee Selby that everyone says is the best? That a lot of people say is the best featherweight in the world. You'll have to wait and see. May the 19th, we'll have to tune in and see what goes on.
Well, that was a man from Barry called Lee. Now let's speak to a man called Barry about a man called Lee. Barry, a few things to pick up on there.
I'm confused. Who am I again? Where do I live?
You're the one from Barry who doesn't actually come from Barry.
That's right. I'm not from Barry.
You're that one.
Okay.
He said Lee Selby said that Josh Warrington hasn't got any respect for him. Discuss.
No, I think he has, but I think he's trying to get Lee rattled. I don't think it's worked. Though I think Josh thinks it's worked. So maybe it has, but. For this, I don't know, but for what I've seen on all these things that we've been showing, and they've been fantastic to watch. But then that's Josh's way. He's a guy who needs to be hyped up. He needs to be angry. I think he needs to be, have a problem with you.
Yeah, fire.
And Lee, for Lee's style and Lee's personality, I don't know Lee personally, to be honest, but he looks like the sort of guy who doesn't, whatever, we'll see when you get in the ring. Because his style's not to go out there and put it on you. But it's a fantastic fight, whatever. I don't think Lee's rattled at all. I think Josh is wary that this is the biggest and hardest fight of his career, but he's pretty sure this is going to be the biggest, hardest fight of Lee's career as well, which it might turn out to be. But I think getting a fight at Lee in Ellen Road is very important for Josh. Not so much to intimidate Lee, which it will. Which I mean, it could.
Which it should. I mean, you would think.
Cause, well, and also because it's football and obviously they're selling Lee as a Cardiff fan. He might be a Cardiff City fan. I don't know, but if they're going to sell him as that, so he might be, and that makes it worse because there's no love lost between Cardiff City and Leeds United in football.
Sure.
I don't know why, because we're not real rivals, because Leeds have had a massive history compared to my beautiful club of Cardiff.
Of course,
but either way, so I think that will help the crowd get up and obviously be really hostile towards Lee.
Yeah.
But I think it's important because it riles Josh up, gets him motivated.
Yeah.
He feeds off that Leeds faithful, and they love him. And I think the club will really get behind. Well, they have been getting behind.
They have been, and a headline that came out just today, as we're recording the podcast on the Monday, the Kaiser Chiefs will be performing at Ellen Road that night as well, and they'll be doing Josh Warrington's walkout. How about that?
The riot, isn't it? It's got to be, hasn't it?
All of that stuff.
It's fantastic. That's what I mean. Everyone's getting behind him. Yeah. So he's got. No one's going to hit the heights of Ricky Hatton with popularity. I think that's going to struggle to happen again. At that real working class level. I know Josh was gone roof, but it's a different it's different kind of fan base. But
it's not the fan that has a pint with him kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah. Like I always say that Hatton might very well be the last working class hero in any sport. potentially.
Sure, yeah.
And certainly in boxing, he's the last one. But Josh has that similar sort of thing, but not as big. But it's still big enough that the whole city want to get behind him everywhere. They feel, because he still sells tickets hand to hand, which is a very that's an old thing to do. So my generation of selling tickets hand to hand, putting tickets in news agents and post offices and barbers. Don't start. I used to have my haircut. I used to have my haircut a long time ago.
I was going to say, did you used to be a barber?
I used to have a number. I used to have a number one at the back.
Yeah. So tell me, how do you beat someone like Lee Selby? He's lost one fight in his life. It was like a 4-rounder several moons ago.
Yeah, against
Samir Munimi.
Yeah, I couldn't say.
Yeah.
I wrote one of his fights. I couldn't say it, but yeah, against him, who turned out to be a good fighter anyway. So,
Sure.
But you got to cut the ring off. You got to make, when you got a technically good guy, you got to make him rush his work, because you give him space and time. And he plays you. He sets things up. He's massive for the weight, so you tend to think he's been featherweight for a long time. And he's very, very big, so he might not struggle for the weight. But you have to just hedge your bets at his age now. He's been a featherweight all his career, and so big that he might be struggling for the weight. Plus, he's technically better than Josh, and there's no lot. That's quite obvious to see. So Josh needs to rush him with intelligence. You can, and Josh does box. Josh is a pressure fighter who doesn't just jump in and walk forward in straight lines. He keeps his hands up nice and high, works behind the jab, and he works, and he goes up and down body and head, so there's decent variety in his work. But if he gives Lee a bit of space, he's never going to win the fight. He's got to put it on him, make Lee work hard from bell to bell, sort of like Hatton did against Zoo. There's different tactics, but that mental preparation that you're going to have to work from bell to bell, and you might have to walk through a few punches. Obviously, luckily, Selby doesn't hit like Hostler Zoo, but you got to go through a few punches to get to your target, to get to your goal of working away. So not to get too close to Lee can hold, but to get close enough that you get inside that jab, and then you work around the body with fast, hard combinations. Make him rush his work, make him under pressure with the footwork. If you can do that, I think it's a really hard task for Josh Warrington. I do.
But from what you're saying there, it does sound like he's got the style to beat him.
Well, on paper,
on
paper to beat anyone's quite simple. I can give you a plan to beat anyone now. Anyone, the best fighter in the world. But to actually, to plan it out, except for Lomachenko, maybe. Couldn't figure out that. But to do it is a different thing. And I think, and Lee can blow hot and cold, because he's a very off the cuff sort of fighter. So he have flashes of brilliance, and then give you so many opportunities to finish him or to beat him. That's the way he fights. But I think if he's motivated, I think he's a clever fighter. It makes it a hard fight for Josh.
I get the feeling that Josh Warrington is thinking about this every night, and he's thinking about what he's going to do minute by minute in that ring. And I don't think Lee Selby knows yet. I think Lee Selby's, as you said, one of those off-the-cuff fighters who will almost make it up on the night.
I think he will. I think they'll have some sort of plan, of course. Tony Borg's a fantastic trainer and knows the sport, by the way. Tony was a very good fighter himself, underrated fighter, to be honest. But they'll get fit. That's all they've been worrying about right now, is just get fit. As fit as you be in your life, Lee. Get the weight right now, to make no mistakes now. And you put on there, because they won't be thinking about winning. They will. I mean, they'll be thinking about, let's put on a performance. They want to shut everyone up. See that, and that might be a good thing or a bad thing, because they want to silence the crowd as quick as they can. Which means they might get involved in a war, which will suit Josh. Neither one's a massive puncher, and I think Lee could be a crisper puncher than Josh, but Josh, with that forward momentum, might be the guy who can wear you down. Yeah,
exactly that. And something that Selby said there is that he's going out to all these different gyms in America, and he's going to be doing some sparring out there. What are the benefits of that?
Well, the benefits are because they have a different mentality in America. Sparring is serious. Listen, sparring is serious over here, but you only really batter sparring partners when you're paying for it. So, over there though, they spar too hard, I feel. I think it shortens careers, but for fights like this, you need that.
So he's going to have sparring partners putting it on him.
He's going to have fights, which is great, as long as you don't have too many wars and it wears you out before fighting time. But I think he'll get sharp for that. And also they're picking, and there's a lot of, I think that forward sort of momentum of, if they get the Mexican fighters and fighters who like to fight aggressive, they'll probably get more fighters over there for that. They get bigger guys as well, so I think he'll be. Listen, they'll both be well prepared. It'll just be who gets it right on the night. Because on paper, Lee looks like a better fighter. I gotta be careful because I'm Welsh, so I'm biased, and I'm not. I don't know either one of them, to be honest. But I think on paper Lee looks the better fighter to me.
Well, he's the world champion that no one would say. Well, how can Barry Jones say that?
Not even being the world champion, because when you have a look at the people they beat, Lee's opponents are only marginally better than Josh's. To be honest, I think Josh has had a fantastic. Josh deserves his world title shot, because his last 5-6 fights, they've all been good quality.
Yeah.
They've all been good quality. They really have. And the right fights at the right time, I think. You've got Kiko Martinez, who's a tough guy, got him just at the right time, a perfect test. If that would have happened in the 80s when McGuigan would box Laporte,
he'd have been about 3 years old, wouldn't he?
No, when he boxed Laporte, just before he won a world title, and that was Laporte was a brilliant fighter, but he just passed his best. And no one complained about that, because that was the test you needed before you go on to bite Pedrosa. But so he's had those sort of tests. I think it's fantastic. But on paper, for skill, you think Lee could answer everything that Josh can do. But you factor in Josh's mindset, always determined, the way he's gritted through fights, that crowd, all the things, timing the fights as well. Where Lee's been a featherweight for a long time and been around longer than what you think. Actually, to be honest.
Yeah, it's been around a while.
Yeah. So, and maybe the timing's right for him. I'm not trying to sell it. I'm trying to sell a fight a little bit, but yeah, I know. I think I favour quite strongly to win the fight, but you can never be sure.
Well, let's see. Tickets are available at leedsunited.com. That's May the 19th. The show will be live on BoxNation. It's not just Warrington versus Selby. There's the Kaiser Chiefs as well. Imagine that. They'll be doing a little set and doing Josh Warrington's ring walk. It does feel like the stars are aligning for Josh Warrington. It's at his football club. He's going to have all the fans behind him. He's going to have his favourite band. Well, for the purpose of this conversation, he's going to have his favourite band singing. And let's find out on May the 19th at Ellen Road. Well, let's stick with the featherweights. Saturday, 21st of April is a big night for boxing, and no more so than the SSE Arena in Belfast. Live on BoxNation, we have a dreamy main event. It's Belfast hero and former two-weight world champion Carl Frampton against the modern-day Filipino legend and former four-weight world champion, yes, count them, four-weight world champion, Nonito Donaire. Steve Lillis popped up to see the Jackal in the gym last week and watched him spar undefeated American prospect Stephen Fulton. So Lillis got the lowdown on why they chose this 23-year-old American young buck as a sparring partner.
I think they've been ideal. We kind of put the feelers out. I got in touch with a guy called Louis DeCubas, who works closely with Al Heyman in America, and asked him to suggest some sparring partners, and Stephen was one of the guys he suggested. Me and Jamie had a look at him, and we thought that he'd be very good to replicate Donaire. And to be honest, I don't think we could have got anyone better. He's gritty, he's tough, he's slick, he can punch a bit. Very, very similar style to Nonito Donaire, and that's what we're trying to get.
I was going to say, he looks ideal there for.
Yeah, perfect. I need to be patient, and especially early on. I need to be patient and not walk in the shots. Donaire is a terrific counter puncher, just like Stephen Fulton. So absolutely ideal sparring.
How did the sparring go? Was it one of those where you got better and better as you adjusted to the style?
I think so. But I have to give credit again to Fulton. He stuck in there and he gave me a lot of problems. Things that Donaire is going to trouble me with maybe. But I feel like this sparring has been absolutely perfect, and I'm going in with the right game plan. And I think I genuinely believe this, and people say it all the time, but I feel a big performance coming, I really do.
For the last fight, Jamie cut the sparring right down. Has he kept it cut down for this fight, or has he increased it a bit?
We've done a bit more. We maybe didn't hit the rounds that would have been ideal for sparring the last camp, but we've got the perfect number of rounds in this time. It's not as much as what I used to be doing 2 or 3 years ago, but it's the perfect amount of rounds. I feel fit, I feel sharp. I'm recovering quicker in between rounds, and we've had a completely different approach, a bit more of a scientific approach. It seems to be working.
And you've been going to the Manchester City complex?
Well, the Manchester Institute of Health and Performance, which is right next to City's ground, and we've been using a girl called Rachel Daw, who's been overseeing everything. I've been getting some testing done. I've been doing VO2 max testing. I've been doing skin folds every week. I've been doing DEXA scans. I've seen Man City's strength and conditioning coach. I've got a nutritionist on board as well. So there's no guesswork really involved. Everything's monitored and we're keeping track of everything, which is something I've never done before in my career. So professional athlete at the top of my game, I feel that it's something that should have maybe been happening already, but it's never too late.
You give us a great insight into what you're doing. Do you ever sit at home at night when you're in your apartment that you stay in and think, I wonder what Nonito's doing in his camp?
Not really. I made a phone call the other day because he's been very quiet on Twitter to say where Dinero went to. I haven't seen him about. He's still coming, isn't he? So he's coming, and he arrives into Belfast, I think, 10 days or something out from the fight. But no, I don't really wonder what he's doing. I just focus on myself, focus on what I'm doing. And right now, I feel like I'm living how a professional athlete should. I didn't really go off the rails or anything before.
I was going to say, you've always been...
I feel like there's just little things. I have little reminders on my phone, 10:30 at night, go off social media. Sometimes you'll be sitting on your phone in bed at 1 o'clock in the morning looking at what idiots are saying on Twitter. You know, it's just, I can't really imagine Dinero is doing that. So I just, different little things I'm doing, and I'm eating much better. I'm eating at the right times, I'm eating the right foods. I feel like I'm performing and everything is coming along nicely.
Well, Frampton versus Dinero is for the WBO interim world featherweight title. I can see Barry glancing over as I said the word interim. The champion Oscar Valdez is facing a lengthy spell on the sidelines through injury. Barry, contain yourself on the interim chat.
No. This is what it's made for.
Yeah, all right. So you're happy with this?
Because there's a champion, he's out because he got a broken jaw.
Great.
So it's fine.
Not for him, but yeah, great.
Not for him, yeah.
No, sure.
Yeah, so that's understand. Long as when he heals, if he heals in time. Yeah, they make the Frampton or Dinero the winner, the real champion, or he fights when he's back. He fights the other guy for his title.
Yeah,
long as that happens, and they don't keep them side by side for another 4 years.
Yeah. Well, let's hope so. I mean, Frampton's promising. He said he feels like
fight.
A big performance is coming. Are you expecting a big performance from him?
He needs it. If he gets beat otherwise. All right, Dinero again. He's not at his peak, of course, and that's obvious. But he's still good enough to beat Frampton if Frampton has a bad night. And Frampton wasn't bad in his last fight, and he wasn't, and he boxed quite well. He boxed a guy who was tough, surprisingly tougher and bigger than I think what he was expecting.
Bigger being a key word there, yeah. He put a picture up on Twitter the other day saying, look at the size of him, with a picture of them two side by side, so yeah.
Was Canelo stood next to him?
Canelo was close by, but let's save that conversation
I didn't
for
say
another
anything,
day.
I didn't say anything, so you're in Canelo's camp, you know, you make your own assumptions.
All good fighters.
Yeah, but
fighters.
But that performance is not good enough to beat Dinero. That's for sure. I think even this Dinero, but speed beats Dinero. Magdaleno showed that.
Yeah, Magdaleno was just fresh and fast and just on him all night, wasn't he?
No, Cal's he's not as fast-footed as Magdaleno. And probably ain't got faster hands, but he can box quite well. The thing we've got to watch with Dinero, he can punch. Even at this weight, he can still punch, and he jumps into attacks and he surprises you. So you have to be aware of that. But I think Cal will be focused now, and he seems in a happy place. And now they've had time to gel with Jamie Moore. And I don't know if Jamie Moore must be a good trainer because everyone's with him, but I think the jury's still out. This is his biggest fight. Jamie Moore's, just as it is maybe Cal's. Maybe it's not Cal's biggest fight, but it might be his best fighter on paper. This is certainly Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz, yeah.
I forgot he boxed Santa Cruz
in America and became a two-way world champion.
I'm just a casual who only watches boxing now and again.
Bring back Steve Lillis.
but when all said and done, and everyone's finished their careers, Dinero will be on paper his best opponent. You just haven't got him at the right time. So
well, you mentioned
I justified myself.
Yeah, you done it. You saved it, Barry. You said Dinero's still a big puncher. The last fight that I saw him lose, well, he got knocked out against Nicholas Walters, of course. But in that fight, Walters is a huge puncher at featherweight. Yeah. In that fight, Dinero hurt him. It was sort of at the end of round 5, I think it was, that he landed a big shot, showing that he does carry the power up to 126 pounds.
I think if you had a puncher, you'd punch him forever. It's just sometimes the guys are bigger, and they can absorb them better.
Yeah, he was huge. The size difference was.
Or if you start to slow down, people can just take the sting out of it. So Cal needs to be fresh and fast, and I think he will be. I think he knows this. He has to give maybe potentially a career best performance. A lot rides in it, not so much the WBO interim title, but all those bigger fights. Another fight with Santa Cruz, the winner of Selby Warrington's a big fight. I got no doubt he wants to get it in Windsor Park. Maybe this year, next year. I don't know when what's happening there, but he wants that outdoor, that big fight. He wants that big, I want to be a legend, an Irish legend fight,
Mm.
and I think beating Donaire sort of gives him that right to go for that fight. But if he loses, it's not the end of his career if he loses, but it sets him back in his bag, and then he's always a big name. People always going to want to fight him, but it just reduces it a little bit. People can avoid him a little bit more.
Yeah, fair point. One of the things that he mentioned there, Barry, was that at 10:30 at night, he comes off social media. Otherwise, he ends up just arguing, as he says it, arguing with Egypts on social media. So, Barry, I've seen you go on Twitter. I've seen you come off Twitter.
I took a month off.
Yeah. Talk us through that. Taking the month off Twitter.
I wasn't getting any. I get abuse like everyone else. I think I probably get less than most, to be honest. In my sort of field.
That can change.
It can change. Of course, it can. You say one bad thing. You say something that someone disagrees with you, and you're not. They don't just say I disagree with you. Well, you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about, but you do because you've watched 4 fights in your life.
Go on, Barry.
And it's your opinion.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But I come off it. It wasn't because of me. It's just I go on there because it's very addictive. You can't stop putting your phone down. It's just moan and grow. It used to have fun on it with certain people. Have a good laugh and things like that, and wind people up, and they wind me up, and it'd be good fun. I enjoyed it, and interacting with people is fantastic. Of course it is. But everyone would moan constantly, like I do. But it'd be really bad, and I thought this is just horrible. So I just went. I'm gonna go off it. But I'm back now. I'm back.
You're back now. So what fueled the decision to come back?
Nothing. You don't get the news quick enough.
Oh, okay.
No, things change, and there's a few people you follow, a few sites and things you follow, like the promoters. I don't know what. So you get to hear it first, rather than go on to a news channel or an app on your phone. You get it first on Twitter, don't you? Most of the time.
Most of the time you do. So you welcome Carl's decision to switch
and
off.
Also, most importantly, I only find out when I'm working by checking the BoxNation Twitter account if we got any fights. Otherwise, no one tells me.
Wait, that 1 month
that's a genuine truth. That is.
I didn't know what to do. We was trying to tag you in. It just can't. This account no longer exists. So I didn't know where to look.
I know. I just turned up for work then, hoping there was work on Saturdays and Friday.
But Frampton coming off at 10:30 at night, a good thing, right? Doesn't sit there on his phone all night.
Well, because someone says something like, you go, oh, just ignore it. It's easy to say that, but then you'll lay down and it'll affect you.
Yeah.
People say, because people just want to wind you up. People just say stuff. So I think I wouldn't go if I had a fighter in a big fight. I would ban social media. I gotta say, this is half a rant, so I'll make the proper rant shorter.
Sure.
The fight Saturday night. The front row, you got Mayweather and whatever. You got some fantastic fighters there. Errol Spence, Jesse Vargas.
Charlo was there as well.
Charlo, they're all on their phone.
Yeah.
All of them on their phone. They're all checking social media, I'm pretty sure. All on their phone.
It's a different era, Barry.
I would ban phones at boxing if I could. But you don't see that at and Steve Little, Bunsey made a point off air. You don't see that at the football match, the rugby match. People watch the rugby, watch the football when you're there. You don't go, oh yeah, it's my. See what people are saying about the match on Twitter. But at boxing, everyone's checking their phones.
Yeah. No, you're right. I saw that.
Pundits do it. Check their phones to see. I tell you what, I've seen it. I'm grassing everyone up now. I'm honest Barry. And they all check their phones, and then they come back. Then they give their opinion, and based on public perception.
Yeah, I hear that sometimes on other channels. I can hear commentary teams, and it's almost like they're then checking Twitter and then letting that swerve the narrative of telling the fight.
No, I don't mean the commentary, because like John. Be fair, John Rowland. I don't know if he's on Twitter, John, but he don't really use it very much. I don't touch my phone while I'm working, because last thing I want to turn it on someone and say, "What are you talking about? You Welsh so and so, because it'll upset me."
Sure.
So, I don't want to see. So I don't, and also I don't want to be swayed by anyone else.
Can't have you crying on air, Barry.
Because if you get it wrong, or people think you get it wrong sometimes, or people disagree with you, and you start to think, "Oh, have I got it wrong?" And then you might change your mind about a fight, and that's dangerous. I think so. Commentary, you can't do it, but punditry, you've got time to digest the information, and so you can, and that's the thing with Twitter is a popularity contest. I don't know why we're all talking about Twitter. This is a boxing podcast.
No, but Barry, you've gone off on half.
You started.
I started it because he comes off Twitter at 10:30. So, and this is a message to anyone. Carl Frampton says he comes off because he doesn't want to argue it with Egypts from 10:30. So if there are any Egypts out there who want to go at it with Frampton, you'll need to get in there before 10:30. But he will ruin you. From what I've seen, he's a savage on there, isn't he?
You can't argue with the Irish.
Yeah, he's quick-witted banter.
There's the Irish and the Scousers, which Scousers are technically Irish anyway, aren't they? You can't argue with them because they will not back down from an argument. They keep going and going and going and going and going, and they're quick-witted, so they just beat you every time. So you just give up.
I saw this one that he did the other day. Someone tweeted, "I'll get knocked down 10 times. I'll get knocked down 9 times. I'll get up 10." And he tweeted them back saying, "You only need to get up 9 times."
And I put, what are you fighting for anyway?
Well, that's Carl Frampton versus Nonito Donaire. April 21st, we're getting closer and closer. It's the WBO interim title. And, big night live on BoxNation. There might still be some tickets left. Go to the SSC Arena Belfast website to pick them up. We look forward to that one. Later this month, the British welterweight champion Bradley Skeete is getting a few of his boys together and heading out to Spain for a couple of weeks. Oi oi! No, not oi oi. It's not a holiday. BoxNation favourite Skeet has a shot at the vacant EBU European welterweight title. Steve Lillis gave the Pride of Penge a call.
Bradley, we're just over 2 and a bit weeks off for your fight against Kerman Lejaraja for the vacant European title. Tell us about the Spanish opponent.
To be honest, Steve, I've not really seen too much of him. He's got a good record. He's unbeaten in 24. He's got a high knockout ratio. He's knocked out 19 of them 24 wins. To be honest, the only name what's unfamiliar with on his record is Denton Fussell. And no disrespect, he boxed him really at the end of Fussell's career. He'd already been stopped by Gavin and then Egerton. So to be honest, he's strong and he's game. But I'm expecting a tough fight. Obviously, being over there in his own country, but I think I need to be beating people like this.
When you went over there to the press conference, how was he with you? Was he in your face, or was it all very welcoming over there?
No, very welcoming, very respectful, very humble. I think they know what I'm about. They know top of the tree. I'm going over there, the British champion. He's the Spanish champion, and it was vice versa. Obviously, I've got to show him respect. He's an unbeaten fighter, so I've got to give him the respect there. But him and his team was very, very respectful and very welcoming.
What made you take the offer to go to Spain? I mean, plenty of people here say you can win, but we see bad decisions in every country. But we've seen some stinkers over there going back years.
I think the opportunity come, and I said to Andy Ailey straight away when he said that the opportunity's there to fight for the European title. I said, I want to do it straight away. These opportunities is what I've got to take, and I'll be taking it with both hands. And it's just, I'm looking at this as a stepping stone to the future, and travelling abroad for the first time to fight away, fighting someone in his hometown. I'm just looking at it as a big stepping stone for the future.
Do you think you might have to become one of these fighters who goes abroad to make their name, to get the recognition you feel you and many people will feel you deserve?
Yeah, I think I've got no problem with going up to people's backyards and boxing. It's not a problem to me. I've done it as an amateur loads of times, and I can do it as a pro. It's no problem for me. A ring's a ring at the end of the day. So I just train hard and get the job done, and just give it all my all, and that's all I can do.
Do you feel now you've more than proven yourself that the moments come where you've gone past British level, even though you've still got that British title?
Yeah, without a doubt, Steve. No disrespect domestically. I'm not looking at another I don't want to fight another domestic fight. I've passed domestic level. I passed domestic level a long time. I've still held on to the belt because I've got the title. I'm British welterweight champion, but domestically, as soon as I win this European title, I'll be moving on and vacating the belt and making way for all the other domestic boys to take over. One, in fact, my teammate Johnny Garton, I think he'll be the next one.
Yeah, I was saying, you hoping that Johnny goes on and picks it up if you relinquish it, if and when you relinquish it?
Yeah, I really hope he does. He's come on so well, John, and he's won the Southern area and English, and he's always had to be no disrespect in my shadow sort of thing. But we're the same weight, we're in the same gym, we'll never box each other. So it's just it's just a waiting game for him now till I vacate, and then hopefully get the opportunity to fight for it.
How's Johnny got? I've got to ask you, to someone who sees me, how's John got this far? Because when he turned pro, every single one, and I've discussed this with you before, we were thinking Southern Area title would be a massive achievement.
Yeah, that's it. To be honest, John said this himself, to win the Southern Area is like his world title. But then he went on to win English title, and now he's won the IBF European title, and boxing a great fight there, and now he's in touching distance of fighting for the British title. And good luck to him, and he works hard, he grafts, he's always grinding in the gym. And I tell you what, me and him have some great spars. He keeps me on my toes. And I really hope he can go on and win that British title after I've vacated.
Well, would you see this fight against Lejaraja as also as a bit of a WBC world title eliminator? I think you're number 10 with them. He's just outside the top 10.
Yeah. Also, he's ranked with the WBA. I think he's number 6. That's another governing body I've not ranked with the WBA. So it'd be great to get in them rankings, beat him, and get his ranking with the WBA. And who knows? Matisse's just got that world title, and it looks like he's set to fight Manny Pacquiao. I'd love the winner of that. So first things first, I'll get the win, get this European title, pick that up, and then try and get the winner of Matisse and Pacquiao.
Yeah, we know you think you're going to win. A lot of us think you're going to win. Who's going to win between Manny and Lucas?
I don't even like speaking out of turn, but I think Manny's past it now. He's had his best days. His best days are way behind him, and just got to look at the Jeff Horn defeat. Jeff Horn shouldn't be in the ring with Manny Pacquiao, and not just to get the win over him as well. So I think he needs to call it a day. And Matisse, he's the same. His last fight, he was in with like an unknown guy from Thailand, and he did get the knockout, but he didn't look at his best to what he used to be. He'll always have that one punch knockout, but I think the people like myself, young up and coming fighters, I think I've got the beating of them.
Yeah, and did you ever, when you've been looking for these big fights, have you ever considered moving up to light or junior middleweight, super welterweight, whatever you want to call it? Or I know you got the attributes height wise for that weight and reach. Was it just are they just a little bit too strong? Maybe some of those guys, was that or did you not even consider it?
Yeah, no. Do you know what? I make welterweight. I wouldn't say easy because it's not easy, but I make it comfortable. I do my weight right, and it would just be a lazy option for me just to say, oh, okay, yeah, I'll move up just because I can, sort of thing, just to gain that extra 7 pounds. And that extra 7 pounds, a lot them boys are coming down from 12.5, 13 stone, maybe some of them. I don't walk around that weight, so I'll be giving away a big advantage in strength. So I wouldn't really consider it unless making 10.7. Like 147 was getting dangerous for me. There's no way I'd be moving up just because I can, sort of thing.
I don't think Alan Smith would let you move up just to be lazy either. He would throw you out of that gym onto that main road down the bottom there by where the farms start.
You know him too well, Steve.
So Barry, what do you know about Bradley Skeet's opponent?
For what I've seen of this kid, Lahaja or...
Yeah, I was gonna wait for you to pronounce it.
You're joking. You've waiting a long time for that, mate. I can't pronounce my own name.
I mean, that's one of the easiest names out there. Barry.
Jones.
I mean, Barry Honest.
I know what I do when I work in. I just mumble the last name quite often. So I don't mumble in general, I don't think. As boxers we do, but if I'm struggling, I'll just go as.
Well, we'll have no mumbling on this podcast.
Yeah.
But I've got it written down in front of me. I want you to read it.
No, I can't read either. That's just.
It's got loads of red underlines.
Whilst you were in school learning how to read,
go on.
I was fighting for my life.
Yeah.
Cornflakes and water and all that. me and Brona. I mean, cornflakes and water.
The cornflake club.
Yeah, I think it's fine going over there. I hope he's getting well paid to go over there because it's a right result. Because I think it's a relatively easy fight for him.
Well, the fella's undefeated, isn't he? I'm going to have a crack at his name. Kerman Laharaha, I'm going to go with. And it's a vacant title, so I mean the EBU's got links with the WBC as well, so presumably it gets him somewhat of a favourable ranking.
And WBA, I think, as well.
Is it with them as well?
I think.
Great.
I think the kid's got a WBA.
Yes, the kid's got a WBA ranking.
So hopefully he takes all that, and then it bolsters his case then with every division, which is fantastic. But I think it's it's all on paper. Stylistically, it's a fight that's made for him. This guy's going to put a lot of pressure on him, and this guy banks on a little bit like a Truax, but this guy's a bit better technically, weighing you out with just constant pressure and trying to work you out. So it's still case I can outbox him for 5 rounds, but for 12 rounds to do is quite difficult. But I think Bradley can.
He's made a career out of doing that.
Oh, he's brilliant. He's brilliant, and he uses it, and everyone says, because people just say because he's tall and awkward. He's not awkward. He's very conventional. He's tall and skillful. That's what he is. to be honest. I know he's added a little bit of weight behind his punches, where at the beginning of his career, all he did was touch the target. Because that was the generation of amateur boxing he came from, and even just touch the target. No one punched through the target. Now he sits down and his punches a little bit more, but still does it at the right time. He still realizes that he's a boxer by trade, not a puncher. Though he has been able to punch. And I think, I don't think you get the stoppage against this kid. But I think this fella will not want to walk forward for 12 rounds because he'll have to walk through punches. And I think Bradley punches hard enough to earn your respect.
I'm happy with some of the stuff that I'm hearing there from Bradley Skeete. He has the names of the likes of Lucas Matisse in his mouth. I didn't really hear that from him a year or so ago. He'd be saying he's not necessarily ready to take that level. He wants to go a level before the kind of top level. Matisse is a monster puncher.
Well, he is.
Talking about him
and all that experience, but Matisse is a light welter. He's got just age has made him put on weight. That's all that's happened there. But he can still bang, as we've seen in his last fight against that huge fella. He is more just a name than he is the fighter he was. Same as Pacquiao.
Well, they're fighting each other, aren't they?
Yeah, but the problem is when you mention these sort of names, and you mention Bradley Skeete, your first thing is to go, what? No chance. And it's hard. That's your first reaction, because you just think, Manny Pacquiao, and you mention anyone in Britain. Manny Pacquiao, what?
It's all about timing, isn't it?
Of course it's about timing.
Because Jeff Horn. Yeah,
exactly.
You'd have done that, but worse with exactly what you're saying, but with Jeff Horn.
Yeah, but listen, well, you mentioned Jeff Horn and Bradley Skeete for the world title when Jeff had the world title, and you don't blink an eye. I still got him. He's boxing Crawford.
Yeah,
although Matt, he's got people Crawford in my eyes.
Not yet.
But obviously it's a given, really, isn't it? But but him and Horn boxing for the world title now, the end of the month. Then you think Skeete got all the chance in the world.
Yeah,
that's a real good fight for him. It's a hard fight because I think Horn's underrated, but it's still a winnable fight for Bradley Skeete. So you put him in with Matisse. Either way, he's done things the right way now. He picks up this European title, and a bit like Josh Warrington, whether he's good enough to beat the champion or not, he deserves his opportunity because he's gone through the right channels and he's got to that lofty rating, and he deserves his chance. And I think Bradley, because of his boxing skills, his boxing IQ, I think Alan Smith is one of the most underrated trainers in the country because he's not a loud mouth and he's not, for some reason, he's not one of those sexy trainers that people like to talk about. He gets overlooked, but I think he's really good because he's taken Bradley from a guy, like I said earlier, who didn't look like he was going to go too far because he just had skill and no power. And I say that because I had no power, but at featherweight, you can barely get away with it. But at welterweight, it's almost impossible to get away with it because they're bigger men and they will just walk through you. And Bradley has just slowly produced, started to work on that sort of strength game as well. And for me, his all-round game is 100% better than it was when he first turned professional. But he still kept the core things, the core values of what makes him the best he can be, and that's his boxing ability. And I think he's a brilliant boxer.
They've got a good camp down there. Bradley Skeete, Lerone, Sniper the Boss Richards, Johnny Garton, who you mentioned in that interview as well.
Danny Carr, DP
Carr, Lewis Petit. They're onto something.
Jake Petit.
Yeah, of course.
It's like top trumps now, is it?
Who else you got? No, Jake Petit, by the way. I think that his nickname is Lil Pac-Man. So great. He's obviously. Bases his style on the great Filipino legend that we discussed earlier.
Good sparring in for Bradley.
Absolutely. For me, Skeete, it seems to be, it was a bit about self-confidence, and I think that confidence is growing. The Frankie Gavin fight, his only loss, felt like he almost, I don't want to discredit Gavin too much, but Skeete maybe lost to himself a little bit that night.
It seemed to be, he sticks to a plan, Bradley Skeete. That's very important to do. It's very hard to do. And it's what Billy Joe Saunders did against Lemieux, which made it. But he needed to go all out in those last. It was a close fight against. I had Gavin winning the fight. I know Bradley thinks he won, and that's fine because it was a close fight. There's no problem with that. And he was going above his level, but proved he belonged. But proved he belonged there, which is fantastic. So in defeat, he proved he belonged at that level, and Gavin was on the crest of a wave. But it was in it for Bradley could have pushed in those last few rounds. Gavin might have upped the pace and still beat him anyway.
Possibly,
but he needed that. But he kept to his plan, kept to the plan they had before. If he kept his discipline, but needed to go all out. A little bit like Williams against Smith. Those last two rounds, it was still a very close fight.
Yeah.
On my card, anyway, I think I had Smith up by 1, and Williams needed to push those last two rounds, and he didn't. And Smith did. And that was the difference, I think, in the overall fight.
Age gap as well, and that's what
Yeah,
experience
yeah.
you come again.
Yeah, of course, yeah. You learn from experience, and that's what happened to Skeete. I think their fight, but he's learned from that defeat. I think he'd like to avenge it, but I think he's gone beyond. Gavin's still always going to be a danger because he's technically brilliant. But I think he's gone beyond Gavin now. He's beat Egerton, who went on to win a European title after that. So he's shown already he belongs at beyond European level for me.
Yeah.
So I think this is a more than a winnable fight. I think I'll be shocked if he doesn't win this fight.
Well, that's Bradley Skeete on 28th of April. He takes on Kerman Lahara. I'm going to go for Barry, and we wish him well. From a UK perspective, all the attention went to James DeGale this weekend just gone. But at the top of the bill, over in the States, 27-year-old American Jarrett Hurd defeated the much-avoided Cuban Erislandy Lara in a terrific fight to unify the WBA and IBF World Super Welterweight titles. Hurd knocked Lara down in the 12th and final round, which proved to be the difference as the scorecards were 114-113 twice in favour of Hurd and 114-113 in favour of Lara. It was a split decision win. Here's what new unified champion Hurd had to say to Jim Gray and then at a post-fight press conference.
Jared, congratulations. This was one tremendous fight and a tremendous effort by both fighters. How would you describe this battle?
Listen, Jim, I want to give all the glory to God, because without him, this would have been possible. But to define this win, it was a tough one. But I went out there and did exactly what I said I was going to do. Being this faced all 12 rounds, and I got the victory.
Did you feel as though you needed that knockdown in the final round to win this fight? Because that proves to be the difference. It's 1 point on all 3 cards.
No, I didn't feel like that. I feel like I was in control of the whole fight. I was putting the pressure on him, and I was more busy. I should have been way higher in the skill cards. But at the end of the day, I still got the victory, and God is good.
Did you feel as though your youth and the age factor difference, the 7 years, was a difference in this fight? Were you able to tire Lara out?
Oh, I don't think it had nothing to do with age, man. I feel like Lara came good. He was still in shape, no matter what age he was. I think it was me. And the game plan we had to keep the pressure on us was the deciding factor.
I know it's early. Have you thought about next? Mr. Charlo is ringside. Lara again. What do you think you'd like to do?
Man, it doesn't matter, you see that Swift is just ducking anyone. It doesn't matter, man. I'm number 1 now. I'm in control, so we're going to call the shot. I'm going to go look over with my team. We're going to see what we're going to do.
What kind of fight do you think it would be with Charlo if it happens in October? Is it even more grueling than this or not as tough?
It's going to be much easier than this. Charlo is the type of guy I go out there and I show what Swift or her talent is really about. With some of the guys I've been fighting lately, I had to fight in a pressure type way. I'm usually a counter puncher and fight on my back foot. I'm sharper than people think, and I'm not gonna have to go look for Charlo right there. When I defeat Charlo, if I get a chance at the WBO, I'm moving up. I'm not staying in the fitness titles. I'm going up to bigger, better things. I'm 160.
Do you have your eyes on guys like Canelo and Golovkin, those massive monies?
Yeah, those are the big money fights we're speaking on. Eventually, we want to go up and fight guys like Triple G and Canelo, Kell Brooks. Man, Leah Smith about to fight Saddam Ali. Me and Leah Smith had a few words, talking about unifying ourselves. So at the end of the day, if he had a belt, we'll take a fight.
I'm good on that fight.
This guy was on top when you were just turning pro. Now you're the champ. How does this feel?
It's crazy, man. It's a dream come true. Ma, I'm moving out, Ma.
No, you're not. Save that money.
Is Charlo next?
I'm not sure, man. It depends. I'm going to fight Charlo before I'm next. But Lord, already know what's next. We gotta get that bag, yeah.
So Barry, you were in the studio for Hurd versus Lara. What a fight!
It was fantastic. That was, of all the fights, I thought that was going to be the least enjoyable to watch.
Because Lara was involved, the old cynic?
No, I like Lara, but I thought Lara was going to win, quite comfortable, I thought he would, but for him to win, he'd have to negate everything that Hurd would do, and I thought Hurd wouldn't be, as big as he is, technically good enough to walk him down. And because Hurd can box, and he's boxed quite a few fights, he's not always the aggressor, but when he is aggressive, he just walks forward, squared up, which makes him easy to hit. But when he boxes, he's not going to be able to outbox Lara, so I couldn't see how he'd win. It's only about Lara getting old overnight, but Lara didn't.
No, Lara was great. I thought Lara was really good. Sharp,
fantastic,
crisp
yeah,
punching.
really fantastic. And it was a close fight. I thought that the right guy won.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I just think it wasn't a fair fight because Hurd's obviously a cruiserweight.
Cruiserweight.
He's massive.
I mean, he is huge.
I've never seen a light middleweight as big as him.
What? I mean, 6'1".
But just the size on his shoulders.
Yeah, I know
his head's about 4 stone. Now, when you can't miss him.
Yeah.
The biggest head on the planet.
What were the actual weights on the night? And we might actually ask producer Andrew, because I remember hearing them. I can't remember exactly what they were, but I remember hearing them and thinking, well, that's not as much as what I thought it would be.
Because the IBF was involved.
Yeah.
So they only have a £10 ruling, don't they? You can only pay a maximum of £10.
And they have the same day thing as well, don't they?
So I think it's a £10 limit anyway. So I think you can't go over that, which makes it difficult for every fighter, but especially for someone like Hurd. You would think some people are just freak of natures and like literally just make the weight. I struggle, but just make the weight. But then he sort of contradicted himself after. It was a great performance from Hurd of just sheer determination to walk through a tricky guy and just smother his work.
Yeah,
that's all he did, and just made Lara fight and for every second of every round.
Yeah,
and Lara, obviously, when you're a technician like he is, you don't even in sparring, you don't have no one's good enough to make you do that much work. And when you do that much, when you are throwing that many punches, it's off your own esteem. So it's different. When you can go bell to bell on the bag or the pads, or against someone else when you're bossing it. When someone's forcing you to throw punches, it's all different. Your breathing's different. You're reacting and reacting. It's hard to react than when you're being the proactive fighter. And you're forcing to box the other guy's pace, and Hur's pace was just horrible.
Yeah, relentless, wasn't it? All night.
But Lara still did tremendously well and showed things that would have endeared him to the public more if he would have done that early in his career. Some of the stinkers he'd had.
Hadn't needed to, I guess. I mean, at this point, I was very surprised actually with how Lara fought. I guess he was forced into it.
He was, yeah.
But
totally.
Normally he'd be sort of running around the ring, land a few shots, and run around the ring again. But he had to really stand and fight to hold his ground.
But to be honest, he was having success because again, Hurd's not the hardest puncher, not the hardest target to find.
Yeah.
You can't miss him, but he takes a good shot. Yeah. I know Lara's not a massive puncher, but he's accurate and can punch hard enough, and he hits you from places you don't see him coming from, which obviously makes it worse. But I thought Lara was tremendous in defeat. It was a close fight. Maybe that'll be again. But then Herb was saying about moving up to 160. But all that is because they won the Canelo and the Golovkin. They won the big money fight. And then in the same breath, he mentioned Kell Brook,
Charlo, Smith as
Jamal,
well.
Not Jamal. He mentioned Liam Smith. Obviously, he got Saddam Ali, of course, first in May the 12th. So so there's it's a good division again now because they're all young champions.
Yeah,
and all relatively
young
new.
Hungry Lions, Barry.
Oh, shut up! Oh God! No.
Go on.
Just don't start all that.
Young Hungry Lions in the camp. All of that. You love it, Barry.
If I could.
Do you like his hair? He had like the yellow hair as well. He almost looked a bit like a young, hungry lion. What says you, Barry Jones?
I don't condone violence, and I don't know, in this modern era of the way fighters sort of call each other out and the way they talk about the fighters when they're due to do battle. But I'll put you to sleep if you say that again to me. That's all I can say.
The threat,
and that's not violence. I could sing a song. I could rock you to sleep, or I could just whack you on the chin.
Well, Barry, I'm looking in your eyes and I can see you're a serious man. So that threat has been acknowledged.
But a good fight. It was a fantastic fight. The fight of the night. It really was. And you want to see Jarrett Hurd again because he's not going to be in a bad fight. And I think he's found a way to beat people. And that is to walk forward. And I think he'll earn money like that. And he'll be a threat because of his size alone. He's a threat to anyone.
He's got to be number one in the division now. He's got two of the 4 belts.
Yeah. And a guy who, if he didn't have belts, he'd be avoided.
If he'd have beaten someone else, he wouldn't be number one. For me, that people would still be saying, yeah, but Lara's the number one. Lara would take him to school.
Yeah.
He's just beaten Lara.
Yeah.
Big news. And what do you think of the? I know you're not going to like this. What do you think of him singing "Get That Bag"?
He was good.
Yeah.
Wasn't he good?
Yeah. Do you like that?
I don't like all the stuff. It was good. At least he could sing.
Yeah.
A really good voice, didn't he?
He did have a good voice.
A fantastic voice. I did see it. Don't worry.
And
we didn't show it like on BoxNation, of course, but I'd seen the clip after. Yeah, it was really good.
Are you familiar with the expression "Get that bag"?
I don't care about all that crap.
But that's what he's singing. He's saying,
I don't get. No, the voice was good. Don't spoil it now.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Let's be nice.
I had to look it up because I wasn't sure either, Barry. I'm not as down with the kids as I used to be, so I had to look up Urban Dictionary to see what "get that bag" means, and it just means getting a large amount of money. So
That's obvious.
Yeah,
Really.
but that's what he wants to do for his next fight. He suggested he wants to get that bag. So I mean, who
No
would you like to see?
No wonder he mentioned Golovkin and
yeah, big bag.
Cal Brook, obviously, because everyone knows now. You come over to the Britain and the fights there, they pay through the nose, don't they, to get people over.
And let me just say something there. And I don't think that Kell Brook's going to be in a huge rush to fight Jarrett Hurd. Sure, he takes a few shots, but is Kell Brook a known big puncher at 154?
Well, he's I think Cal's a puncher. That's full stop. But Hurd's massive, and I wouldn't want to fight him. No, because why would you? You would, because you got all the titles maybe, and half of the division he owns. So maybe you want to, but this is Errol Spence was there, and I've seen some things online with Cal, so saying come and fight me and stuff like that. So maybe he's looking for revenge. Who knows? But listen, there's some fantastic names there, and if Liam Smith can beat Saddam Ali, and it's a hard ask.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's a hard ask. People think that because Ali, he beat an old Cotto, and he did. And because he got beat at welterweight, he's a good fighter, Saddam Ali.
I hear what you're saying.
Smith can do it. I know, of course he can do it. But if he wins, what a great for him. He got a world. He won his world champion again, which is fantastic for him. But more importantly than that, he's in the mix with all these young fighters now in a new division. And that might be the division where they're going to try and promote in America. No, this is the new sexy. This is the new super middleweight. This is the new middleweight division. This is the sexy weight.
Yeah, cool. And I know Hurd, he's got Charlo on his mind. Obviously, that would be a 3-belt unification. If Liam Smith beats Saddam Ali, 3-belt unification with Jarrett Hurd, neither of them will take a backward step. What a fight that is! That suddenly Smith's involved in a monster fight again.
Yeah.
After the Canelo fight.
With a monster.
With a monster.
Just because of his sheer size, you just think, would you want the fight? How big he is, and he ain't bad either. He's easy to hit, but he looks like he can take a shot.
Yeah,
so
which is bad news for the super middleweight division.
Same with Golovkin. Like Golovkin's not a monster size like he is, but he's another guy you think, he's a bit flat-footed, so I can catch him now and again. But he takes a good shot.
Absolutely. Well, big congratulations to Jarrett Hurd, who became the unified super welterweight champion over the weekend, and he took on and he beat the number one in the division. It makes him the number one, and we look forward to some big fights, hopefully with some Brits involved, Liam Smith potentially, Kell Brook. And of course over stateside they're looking at the Jamel Charlo fight, so let's keep an eye on this space. Now this weekend he should have been making his 5th challenge for a world title, but unfortunately an injury sustained to his opponent, WBO world middleweight champion Billy Joe Saunders, meant that Martin Murray is having to wait. The fight and the show has been rescheduled to June 23rd at the O2 Arena, and Steve Lillis caught up with the St Helens challenger.
Martin, you were training hard for the Billy Joe Saunders fight. It's been postponed. Have you had a bit of a break?
Yeah, I've had a bit of a break. Yeah, obviously kept my eye in the gym. Coming up once a week, that completely took my foot off the gas. But coming up the gym once a week kept up my strength and conditioning, and I've just tried to keep my weight down to a decent level. So yeah, I mean, I have been doing a little bit, but I think it's been really important for me to. Because when I got back from Tenerife, I was ready. I had 4 weeks ago, and I was ready. So I really needed to obviously just unwind, and that's what I've done. But like I said, just keeping my eye in with the session here and there. But yeah, I mean, I'm just going to train, smash it like I did in my last camp. Felt great, the best I've ever felt during that last camp. So obviously I'm going to do the same. And yeah, time it right. So come June 23rd, we'll be firing on all cylinders.
But will it be in the back of your mind how good you actually were before the first scheduled fight? If you suddenly thought, I weren't so good today, look where I was 6-7 weeks ago.
Nah, it won't be. I just think the thing was with the last one, it wasn't so much physically as well, because I did feel good physically, but it was mentally. So as long as I know I'm feeling right mentally, I'll be right physically. But no doubt if we get over Tenerife and have the same camp, with the same group of lads as last time, it'll be just as good, and we'll be come back feeling better than ever.
Just ask your take on Canelo failing a couple of drugs tests.
Shambles, innit? Absolute shambles. Joke. Yeah, obviously the Mexican meat scandal. It's a joke. It's that's the way it is sometimes. Obviously, it's I don't know. I think anybody who takes drugs like that, performance enhancing stuff like that, in this sport, doing what we're doing, they should be banned for life. I reckon Canelo might get a 6-month ban or something like that. It's a joke. It shouldn't be happening, but other people who do it, who aren't as big a name in the sport, they get less bans. I don't think it's fair. They get more bans, should I say. I think he should be banned for life, and if not a couple of years, but I won't be surprised if he gets a 6-month fight and him and Golovkin fight in September.
Now, Barry, usually Steve Lillis has a moan around this time of the show. There's been the rare occasion where he's really happy and he throws praise, waxes lyrical about someone. Barry, I've got to ask you, is there something on your mind? What you talking about, Barry?
No, I don't sound the same, does it?
No, not at all.
Listen, I've moaned all day, as the last time I came on, and every other time I'll come on, I'll moan until you don't have me on again.
It's been hard work.
I know that. I can imagine it's hard, for you to be sat to greatness. If I can get my words out correctly, that would make sense. But I went to an amateur box show. I went to the Welsh Elite Championships on Saturday, and I drove straight back to London then for the fight, to work for the fight the same night.
Yeah.
But just to say about the grassroots of boxing, it was supported. It was fantastic, and it's just a little bit of I wanted people to get out and support amateur boxing a bit more, because I don't think club shows do so well. And it was great, and the quality was fantastic, but the passion they had to win a Welsh title, and it sort of been nostalgia, sort of crept in as well, because I won my only Welsh. I turned pro at 18, so my only Welsh senior title against Paul Samuels. It was a good fight to Paul.
So is Paul Samuels the guy from the double knockdown?
Yeah. But before that, he was shot by them, Paul. But before that, he was a fantastic fighter. It really was. Should have done a lot better than he did as a pro. But as an amateur, he was superb. Yeah. And he was like a 6-foot featherweight. It's horrible. And every time he hit you, you didn't know where you were.
Crazy. We were talking about Jarrett Hurd.
Yeah, he was like that. Yeah, he was mad. Then we ended up being like middleweight as a pro, did Paul, and I stayed at featherweight. But I'd be able to beat him to win my Welsh title, and in that same arena in Cardiff, and it was like, oh, this is great. And I watched my mate's son, John Smith, who was a good amateur, John, and his son Joe just came short against fell short against an experienced guy. And I thought, just the future of these kids, everything's bright for them, and all that. And it just brought me back and thinking, and us boxers, we moan about our careers, about how they should have been, or what could have happened if this would have happened.
I thought you were about to moan for this, but you're
I'm not.
Just, you're
and I
good.
just think, for every fighter, when you look back on your career, just think of what you wish for when you were 10, when you first started boxing, or 12, whenever you first started fighting. If you would have thought you would have been where you are today, for most fighters, you wouldn't have thought that. Like if I would have thought I'd be doing this job or be a world champion, whatever that meant, in this era of titles being thrown around. Just the fact, to achieve something and to win fight as a pro, to win medals as an amateur and be a national champion. Just think, you don't know how lucky you are. See that chase. Maybe we've done this before, chasing that dream.
Yeah.
And all that. We moan about things didn't go our way and the money we didn't earn, but we chased the dream, and that's something that. And that brought it back Saturday night. All these kids with all their future ahead of them, chasing a dream. And I half want to tell them, don't do it, because it's not going to work out how you think it's going to work out. You're not going to make no money. Do football. If you're good at football, play football. But, and then I said, go for it. Because you only live once.
Did you have people telling you don't do it?
No. And my father said, don't turn pro, you're too young. And he was right. He was right.
You turned pro at what, 18?
18, yeah. 18. I entered the senior championship at 17. And turned pro at 18. It was ridiculous. I shouldn't have done it, but I did it.
Why shouldn't you have done it?
Cause I had no man strength. I was too young, and also it was 92. Commonwealth Games were 94. I would have gone to Commonwealth Games for Wales. You didn't have to win you had to win the national championship. I would have went. Jason Cook went at my weight. He would have moved. Jason was big, so he would have went up to lightweight, because why would we wouldn't have fought each other?
Right.
Well, I would have went on the bantamweight. I was only small, but either way. And Jason won a silver, and Jason was a good fighter, and he deserved it. But I think I would have won a medal in the Commonwealth Games. And so and back then the Commonwealth Games was a bigger deal than they are now, because we weren't winning medals in Worlds and Olympics back then, hardly ever. So that winning the Commonwealth Games meant you turned pro with a big promoter straight away, and a couple of quid and a bigger platform and a bigger name. Like Richie, I know Richie won the Olympic gold, Olympic bronze. Sorry, but he didn't turn pro until he won the gold in the Commonwealth Games 2 years after. I think it was in Auckland. So you get that gold medal in the Commonwealth Games, and then you turn pro. That was sort of the thing. So yeah.
Why did you do it then? Why did you go pro?
Well, I had a guy with me, Pat Thomas, was an ex-double British champion, and he just thought I should turn pro now, and he was there on the gym, and he believed in me, and he generally believed in me, but but it was a little bit selfish on his part, but he believed I could be a world champion. He was right.
He was right.
But get pro. No, and I feel a lot of it was so I didn't get snapped up by a bigger promoter. Because I went with a fella called Billy Aird, an ex-heavyweight. Billy was my manager, a lovely fella.
Yeah.
But what the whole thing was about just to see all these young kids and the magic of the sport and not getting a penny. Do you know what I mean? And even in defeat, the young kid Joe Smith, he lost his fight, but he done so well against an older, more experienced guy who'd been a champion for like 6 years, and took him to the wire, and he's buzzing. Do you know what I mean? He's thinking, "Oh, I'm only 19. I can come again next year." And I was talking to his dad yesterday. He said, he's disappointed he lost, but he's so excited. And I was just like to other fighters out there listening to the podcast. You know, we feel sad about our careers, like we didn't end up with the Kawasaki or the hat and money or acclaim. But just think back to what you would have wanted when you were 10, and the journey you had, and if you think of it that way, then you'll be happy with what you did because you chased a dream. And most people in life can't say that.
Nice words, Barry Jones. Yeah. Wow, that was inspiring.
We needed some music, like something like.
Yeah, no, I mean that would be really sad, wouldn't it? That sounds like sad music.
Right,
I thought that was quite uplifting. Your story towards the end.
Well, I can end it talking about my last fight when I ended up on the floor for most of the night.
Don't talk about that. You know, former world champion, as I introduced you at the top of the show. Now we are a 24/7 boxing channel, and here's what's coming up this week. So Thursday at 7 o'clock. Boxing Matters. Now, this is actually on every Monday at 7 o'clock, but there's repeats dotted throughout the week. And I'm picking out Thursday at 7 o'clock. It's Alex Steedman and friends. He's normally got a couple of journos with him, and they chew the fat over everything that's happening in boxing. So it's well worth a watch. If you like the likes of Colin Hart, you know, he's normally on there. Jeff Powell, all these kind of guys, they're all normally on there having a little chat. Friday at 7 o'clock, as if listening to Barry Jones wasn't enough, you can watch him live Friday at 7 o'clock with Bunce's Boxing Hour. Have they not renamed that to Barry's Boxing Hour yet?
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
I know. How long's it been there?
Do you know what, though? Like, you tend to think, well, what's Buncey now? Buncey's about 74 now, isn't he? So how long's he got left to work?
Oh, he's on his way out now, isn't he?
Yeah, I can see me getting in, taking over. I presented the show once.
Yeah, how did you find that?
Oh, it was rubbish.
No.
Oh, it was terrible.
Well, so did you have guests on and stuff?
No, I did the live boxing on Saturday night one time.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't very good.
Dips your toe in it though, yeah?
No, it's because I was afraid no one else was around to do it, and so I said I'll do it, and then sort of regretted it after. Yeah, but anyway, Barry's Boxing Hour. Barry's Boxing Hour. Every Friday, not always 7 p.m. Sometimes it was 6 p.m. But the WSBs takes over.
Yeah, well, we got to go with the importance of live boxing over. He contests
we had Alex Steedman last week.
How'd you find that?
He done a great job.
I found he kept plugging his own show.
I told him, I don't know, put him in his place. Don't plug your own show, yeah.
That was good. So that's Friday at 7 o'clock. Bunce's Boxing Hour. Basically, a great magazine show. It's free to air on Sky Channel 437. And we try and bring it to you live on Facebook as well. Saturday at 8 o'clock, it's the GB Lionhearts versus France. You a fan of all this sort of all this WSB?
I love it.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan originally because I like traditionalists. I want to keep everything the same.
Sure.
3 threes, changing distances, all this rubbish. People getting paid and all that. But the WSB is a fantastic platform. It's actually the format. Is the best format of any sort of boxing.
You reckon?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I really do. I think it's brilliant because you get the world-class athletes at their level, at the amateur system, in the inverted commas, boxing each other. You would never get that.
So
you never get that nowhere else.
Best fights are being forced.
And they're fantastic fights, and because it's 5 rounds, it's like pro boxing, but it's at the pace, so it's good.
Well, that's Saturday at 8 o'clock. Keep an eye out for that. That will be live on BoxNation. And we're always adding more and more fights to our schedule. Sometimes it's last minute. Yeah, we had the James DeGale fight added with not much notice at all. So just keep an eye on our social media platforms, and I'm sure there'll be some more additions in the coming weeks. Go to BoxNation.com if you want to subscribe to the channel to watch it on TV. If you want to watch it on your phone, laptop, or on your tablet, go to watch.boxnation.com. You can subscribe to the channel in 24/7 HD there. So, Barry, another great week, another great show. Thanks for filling in. You've had your Framptons, your Selbys, your Bradley Super Skeets. You have fun?
It's been better than the last time because I don't know what to say it. I don't like you.
Yeah.
but I don't dislike you anymore.
That's great.
Do you know what I mean?
That's progress, that is.
It is progress. Don't spoil it by
Yeah.
talking to me.
Yeah.
But that's been good. Nice one, mate.
Yes, good stuff. And remember to tweet us any comments as Barry Jones squeezes my hand. And I think he had a little surprise there as he tried to squeeze my hand too hard and discovered that Sani has got a little bit of muscle in this right bicep.
Women's fingers, you go.
That's completely untrue. How about an iTunes review, by the way, guys? Leave us a review, and I'm going to make you a deal. If you leave us a review on iTunes, you can have a free lifetime subscription to the BoxNation podcast. All you need to do is hit the subscribe button and we'll be in your ears every week. So tweet us any comments at BoxNation TV, at Barry Jones Box, who is back on Twitter now after his brief hiatus, and at Sani Dev. Remember to subscribe to the best boxing channel in the world, 24/7 Boxing, at BoxNation.com. Thanks for listening.